I give you one job.
Good start, yeah.
Hello and welcome here to Game 8 at Anarchy number 7 here. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon in beautiful London, and we're here to bring you Stockholm RollerDerby, who hopefully you saw this morning playing Tiger Bay Brawlers in their one and only game this afternoon at Anarchy. I'm Very Cherry and I'm joined by the wonderful
King Crazy.
And King, you will be bringing us our Stockholm roster.
Yep. Skating for the STRD All-Stars in the blue will be 10 Rainbow Spite. Number 13 is Friday. 164 is Oahu. Number 20, Schmartan. Number 25 is Vagabondage. 2626, Coco Stroll. Number 4, Foxen. 530, Slender Woman. 55 is Fury. 57, Lam. 614, Traktorn. 70, Frankie, and 817, Scandy Crush.
Wonderful stuff, and you will have seen loads of those skaters on the track this morning when they played and beat Birmingham RollerDerby 176 to 125. Hoping to put the end to their winning ways is Tiger Bay in the orange and the black, and your team is number 15 Dos Santos, 17 Jenks, 271 Pep Canary, 31 Plant, 316 Thrill House, in capital letters no less, 32 is Bobber, 42 Bosch, 44, this is where you're going to have to help me, you did tell me this earlier.
Espacio.
Just pretend I said it. And Espacio is Billy Pistol.
Formerly
from
Billy Pistol, yeah.
Ye Olde Time, wonderful to see them back. Number 50 Gray, 59 Wild, number 6 Evans, 62 Pip Gray. We have 727 Geordie, 80 Thorpe, and 88 Kemp, and that is Tiger Bay Brawlers in the orange this afternoon.
I must admit, I've been really looking forward to this game all weekend.
Are you saying you've got a favourite already?
I might have slight links to one of these teams.
I keep trying to out people for their favourites.
Oh, it's no secret. I have had very many happy trips over to Stockholm to go and announce.
Oh, okay. Well, just to balance it up, I'm a massive Welsh rugby fan. I've been to Cardiff 1,000 times, and I'm actually going to take this time to say I was in Cardiff last weekend for my wedding anniversary with the wonderful Stephen Liner Douglas, aka Rolling Rat, who was reffing the last game. Just thought I'd get that in. So it's love to the officials, love to Wales.
You were in Cardiff last weekend. I was in Stockholm last weekend.
Oh
it's all fair.
Why we've done this game? The perfect
it was
match.
meant to be.
It was meant to be, and we are being produced and given stats by the fantastic Billy. Where were you last weekend? Bermuda. Oh my God, how fancy! And you cut that short to come here. Oh, we have been blessed. That might not be a fact.
Don't forget, you can tweet in using the hashtag Anarchy7. Let us know where you're watching from, and I'll try and get some of those read out during the game.
Alrighty then, we are just about to get underway. We have got the blue of Stockholm against the orange of Tiger Bay. And what's happening then, King?
So Schmartan is jamming first up in the blue, but the first lead jammer goes to Plant for Tiger Bay.
Tiger Bay going to be very happy with that. As we said before, their only game here at Anarchy, so they're really going to be looking to put their stamp on this weekend.
Schmartan trying to get through, but stopped by Wild at the front of the pack.
Yeah, wonderful one-on-one blocking from Wild. I expect no less, of course.
Yeah, they're well known for their blocking capabilities. So there's just one to beat at the front, which is Pip Gray. As Plant is digging in against Scandy Crush, Rainbow Spite, and Oahu.
Now, if you watched the game this morning against Birmingham, which I'm sure you did, because if you love RollerDerby, you'd be here watching it. Myself and B called the game, and we have to say, we're pretty sure that Scandy Crush actually never left the track. They were on literally every jam, pivoting, star passing, all over town. And if you did manage to catch that game, you'll also hear that we picked up a couple of favourites as well.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So we'll be looking to find some Tiger Bay favourites today as well. As we go into our official timeout, this is a brilliant time for me to tell you about the officials officiating this game today. You've probably already seen them on track this weekend. But on skates, I will let you know, we have McFarlane, Razor, Shugs, Emma, Lucas, Peru, Katz, Saws and Emily of the States. And who is doing our
fantastic non-skating officials? Hissing Hellcat, X-Ray Ted, Swearwolf, Kloster Schmuck, Hannah, Says Who, Cataclysm, Dorian Gray, Jessosaurus, Blockness Monster, Jack and Emily of the Stats.
Billy just told me I had to check my diary to remember what I did last weekend because I'm that old. Oh, bless you.
No, it was Bermuda.
It was Bermuda, I'm correct. I thought so. All right, then, as we just made up some lovely officials and then made up a slight lie about Billy, we are up again into jam number 2, and we have got Jenks jamming for Tiger Bay. Not only jamming, got lead, but just as I say that, called for a cut track, which means, King,
that it will be a power jam for Coco Stroll, but I don't think Coco realised and took the star off, so cannot be lead. So we will have a 2-minute jam. Credit needs to go to number 55, Fury, who caused the track cut there.
Nice.
So let's see what Stockholm can do with this power jam as the offence moves in, led by the pivot Foxen.
Oh, Foxen had an absolutely barnstormer of a game this morning, and Stockholm really did capitalise on the power jams that were bestowed upon them. But just as we speak of a power jam being bestowed upon them, they giveth away.
Yeah, so there won't be back block called on Coco Stroll, so that means that Plant will be... Sorry, not Plant, it's Jenks, my apologies, that's jamming this one. We'll be back with the short power jam.
Oh, Jenks using those shoulders to their best ability. They're breaking on through the pack. We're losing, I think that's Dos Santos to the penalty box. We've got Stockholm's jammer standing up. I mean, a little bit like the Birmingham game this morning. I think we're in for a tit-for-tat yo-yo of a game.
I think we're going to see at the start of this, you've got one team that's hyped up. It's their only game this weekend. Another one that's playing their third of the weekend, their second today. So how much is energy, how much is fatigue going to play a part? That's 4 points each picked up so far on this jam. Of course, this jam will go to 2 minutes, as both jammers did have to sit in the penalty box.
Yeah, they sure did. And as you said, sometimes it's interesting when you've got a team only playing one. And I always attribute this to sometimes if you're one of the crossover skaters, you can be potentially quite penalty heavy because you don't get on the track enough. So you're like, I must do all the things. Are Tiger Bay going to fall foul to that a little bit this afternoon, or are they going to chill and find a nice ebb and flow, like I think we saw Stockholm do this morning?
Yeah, Stockholm, it will be, as I said, this morning, I was just watching a game in the crowd. What had a negative effect for them is one of their jammers picked up 5 penalties very quickly.
They did.
3 as a jammer, 2 as a blocker following a star pass. But it'll be interesting to see, they normally have a 4 jammer rotation. And Slender Woman with the star now picks up lead jam very quickly. Slender Woman, who's had a very good weekend.
Oh, 100%. The Slender Woman, whilst I'm not taking away any of their jamming abilities, the penalty box was full to the brim of Tiger Bay players, so they did have a lot of opposition on the track. But we've been treated to some more clever hit it and quit it play from Stockholm, which we saw in abundance this morning.
Yeah, they're a very tactically aware team, especially with things like they will run jams longer if they've got blockers in the box to try and clear the box. They'll also do that when they've got a matchup that they like, potentially when there's been a star pass and they think they've got a chance to, win a jam 12-4 rather than 4-0, for example. And trying to do that now will be Schmarten.
Wonderful stuff from them. Last line of defence, number 6, Evans for Tiger Bay, but the Stockholm jammer right around the outside of those hips.
Yeah, Spacio's jamming for Tiger Bay and being held back by a combination of Fright Day and Scandi Crush.
I'm just going to look at you every time I need to say their name.
And Star Pass has been completed. Evans now has the star for Tiger Bay. And what we're seeing now, Smarten decides to call it off.
Is this going to be another hit it and quit it?
It was.
It is.
Only 3 points. Part of me was thinking that maybe Stockholm would run that long with the star pass, but not to on that time.
Always a good tactic to use, and I always feel like you kind of giving pivots a bit of a discredit, when it's kind of like freeze them in the box, they're the pivot. I mean, they're just as good a jammer as anybody else, but it is a clever tactic to use. And we've had a
lead change.
We have indeed. If you are doing anything at home to celebrate lead changes, it could be 10 star jumps, it could be 10 tequila shots. I'm not here to judge. Get them down here now.
So Lahm is jamming now for Stockholm, pushing their way through against Pip Gray at the front.
I learnt a fact about Lahm, that Lahm means alarm in English. So
Swedish.
of course, obviously. My lord. I get given a stat in front of me and I still manage to get it mixed up. But not mixed up is the star pass. Over to number 62. Pip Gray is your jammer for Tiger Bay.
And this time, again, following the star pass and with 2 in the box, Stockholm have decided that they are going to run the jam.
Just getting ourselves ready to watch Lahm coming through now. Lovely 2-wall at the front being brought together by number 80. That is Thorne. Lovely work at the front. Last line of defence, as always, is number 31. That is Plant. Who was the jammer, switched over?
Yep.
Lovely.
Great work there from Frankie with the drawback on Pip Gray, helped out by the captain, Vagabondage.
Oh, Frankie had such a good game earlier. Honestly, we must have said their name 1,000 times. And I'll say it 1,000 times more today.
So you're starting to see the Stockholm box is starting to empty out. Just as I say that, Fury goes back to the box.
Luckily, they can't hear us up here, so we can't be cursing anything. Lovely little smatter of points there picked up for both of our teams.
Yeah, 10-8 in favour of Stockholm on that jam, with running it longer, following the star pass to try and clear the box. They did clear the box. Unfortunately for Stockholm, they refilled it again.
Always the way. So we've got a 4-point differentiation in the score. And as I said this morning, if you were watching that Birmingham game, you will be thinking, is this deja vu? I mean, the teams are in different colours, but this is a very similar story to what we saw this morning. But are we going to see a similar outcome?
Interesting battle at the front between Jenks and Scandi Crush. It's not very often that either of those are matched up with somebody who size-wise is similar to them. Coco has now taken the star off, but is seeing Scandi Crush, the pivot, disappear to the penalty box.
Let's pop that back on then. Last line of defence at the front. Evans watching their footwork. But number 4 for, I don't even know why I looked. Of course it's Foxon.
Yeah.
Foxon's another one who I don't think's actually sat down yet on the bench.
Yeah, I think with Foxon and Scandi, they tend to both be on very high rotation as the main pivots.
I mean, they are earning their lunch today.
So Coco Stroll finally completes the initial pass, gets around the outside, and once more it's Foxon with Vagabondage slowing Jenks down slightly. There's a penalty on somebody.
I thought it was the jammer then, but Shugs, the jam ref, looked, but it was because there was a call-off. A much more appeasing outcome for a jammer.
Another lead change.
Another lead change. That's 20 star jumps you over now. Everybody, come on, get jumping up and down. I'll go and do them in the corner at half-time.
2, 3.
Do proper ones.
Oh, OK.
So we have got Stockholm on 24. We've got Tiger Bay on 28. We are just over 20 minutes left of this game, and we've had a timeout called by Stockholm.
I'd like to take this time out to pay attention to Gendered Intelligence. They're a registered charity that works to increase understanding of gender diversity and to improve the quality of life for trans people. They're trans-led and trans-involving grassroots organisation which runs training, campaigns and support services for trans and gender non-conforming people. We're really proud here at Anarchy to be able to give them a platform, and please check out their website at genderedintelligence.co.uk, where you can make a website, or if you keep an eye out for the QR code on our stream adverts in between games.
Lovely stuff there. And a massive thank you, of course, goes to our officials, photographers, volunteers, medics, NSOs, tech, DJs. Honestly, the in-house DJs have been fantastic. It's really good at a in-house game. Sorry to people at home I want here, but I'm just painting the picture for you. I have been to enough roller derby games now where I've heard Just a Girl by No Doubt played 17 times. And we have had some, and I don't want to sound like a grandma right now, some bangers.
You're showing your age there, Cherry.
What, because I said bangers?
There's nothing wrong with No Doubt as well.
No, there isn't, but you know when you're at a roller derby game and you get it 17 times,
yes.
And bad reputation as well. We could do a poll later on songs we've always heard at roller derby games. But enough chit-chatter about me and the jukebox that I do or do not want to hear. Let's have a look, because we have Geordie jamming for the first time, I believe it is, for Tiger Bay. First time, first lead, tasty stuff.
And Schmarten has the star currently in hand.
Oh.
They will get a cut there. I think they cut more than one of their own team, which is why that cut was called.
Oh.
Or a Fright Day with a brilliant drawback on Geordie. It's absolutely great work. Fright Day, who I believe is the youngest player at Anarchy this weekend.
Really?
At 18 years old.
Oh.
Although I think from having seen her play. I think she's been playing for 19. As a cut, it was the hit out by Fright Day and the drawback by Rainbow Spite.
Well, here's another one to make you feel old. When you start watching, I think you touched on this yesterday, King, you're watching skaters and you're like, I'm sure they played in the Junior Olympics. I'm sure I've seen them. I mean, there's got to be some skaters that we've seen here with their parents and now they skate.
Yes.
I'm just going to go get my
absolutely.
walking stick and my false teeth. Hang on.
Yeah, absolutely. Smarton out of the box, stashed the star, completed the initial pass, picks up 4 with a lovely little hop to get past Pip Gray.
That was very tasty. Let's have a little look at the score. We're in a tied scenario. I don't know what we do for that. Maybe like a pike jump or something. Just one though. Let's not go over the top.
Well, let's see where we stand at the end of the jam.
Yeah, good point. We don't need to do cardio if we don't need to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you know that Spartan was about to leg it up and grab points then, just to get out of doing exercises?
Yeah, sure. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Smarton saving us from doing unnecessary exercise.
But not doing anything unnecessary. Scandikush at the front of this pack. Honestly, I feel like I've spent the whole weekend with them, doing absolutely fantastic tripod movement.
And Foxon there as well.
Yeah, wonderful stuff. I'm really enjoying it, and I think we've touched on this in some games yesterday and this morning. Some of them, whether they're new pairings or some of the older pairings that have kind of got back together, but some of the twos that we are seeing this weekend have been fantastic. Do we need to do some more star jumps?
Yeah, not quite. Yes, there was a lead change. Sorry, yes, distracted me. I was still thinking about the tie game again. Going into that jam, we did have 3 lead jammers each. Now, Tiger Bay did get lead in that jam, but of course lost lead with the penalty. And so it's been very even on the penalties as well.
At some point it's going to break. At some point it must break.
And another interesting fact is every time that a jammer's gone to the box, one of the opposition jammers then gone as well.
Really? Oh.
So we haven't had a jam where a team has had an exclusive power jam.
A pure power jam.
Yes. But in terms of keeping it even, I think, well, we have one, you have one.
I know, but that's never. I mean, some people want that. Other people, you do. What a game! What a game it's been. And also, may I just say that I think that blue that Stockholm are playing in is absolutely delightful. What a lovely shade of blue they're playing in.
It is. It's sort of the navy
pleasing
blue.
To the eye, isn't it?
They used to play. Obviously, we've seen them in white as well earlier this weekend. It used to be the lighter blue and yellow that they played in, the colours of the Swedish flag.
But this blue is, woof.
Yeah, it works well with the yellow as well.
It's very lovely. So well done to whoever decided on that. Pleasing to the eye. So yeah, well done. Also, I mean, you can't deny black and orange. Tiger Bay absolutely storming it out as always.
So there's a little discussion. We've got an official timeout as the referees are just having a discussion. Just to remind you what we have coming up later today at approximately 3 p.m. You will see Crime City Rollers from Malmo versus Nothing to Lose. And then the final game of the day, around about 5 p.m, we'll see Helsinki RollerDerby versus London Brawling.
Is this the only time we'll see London today? Isn't it?
Yes, they played twice yesterday. They beat Stockholm. I don't have the score to hand, but they did beat Stockholm quite a bit, quite well. And then had the absolute nail-biter against Toulouse, which I think was like a 4-point game at the end of it. It
was such a good game and such a good way to finish the day yesterday. We had 2 tight games to finish, absolutely tasty. And I love how London are like, we're going to open, we're going to close.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're the hosts, you do that. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're the hosts. It's their party, they can do what they want to.
Exactly. If it's my party, I'd leave halfway through and not tell anybody.
Yeah. Yes, so the score yesterday, thank you, Billy, was London 214, Stockholm 43.
I had to listen to it in the car because we were stuck in that notorious London traffic.
I was meant to be here and watching it. I was here first thing this morning as Stockholm beat Birmingham, as you mentioned earlier, 176-75.
And I do believe as well, if you were watching the games, if you're listening right now, I believe you've got something like 30 days and you can watch all the games again with your pass.
I believe so, yeah. I think the pass is valid for 30 days. Oh, we have had expulsion.
Oh, hello.
727 Geordie. I'm not sure what for. There was nothing that I saw that was obvious.
No.
But we do have a live sort of screen with all the penalty stats. And I did see a orange star skate out of the hall.
Oh.
I thought they were just going for a quick break.
Oh, okay. Well, once we've got that confirmed, we'll of course bring that to you. Just change the game up a little bit, of course. You know, if we're losing a jammer, if we're losing a player. I mean, it does look like Tiger Bay have brought quite a large contingent with them. So hopefully they can plug some gaps where needed.
So I've just been informed that the expulsion was for a basic penalty box violation. As they entered the box, they didn't enter safely, hit the chairs, which either made contact or forced the NSOs to take evasive action.
Oh, man.
Which is an expulsion-worthy event, putting the safety of the officials at risk.
100%. And whilst I do not discredit that rule at all, it's such an annoying thing to be expelled from the game for.
Yeah.
But those are the rules, and we all signed up to play to them. But as I said, King, yes, Stockholm are probably going to capitalise on this in some ways, but Tiger Bay have brought a bus full of people across the Severn Bridge, I don't know which way they really came, around the M4 perhaps, through Watford Gap Services, and they're here with a whole, I don't know, babe, and with a whole host of people, is what I'm trying to say, by literally going around the houses.
To be fair, I was with you with the Severn Bridge.
Yeah.
I was with you with the M4.
But Watford Gap...
Is it on the M1 north of Northampton?
Oh, babe, I don't know. As long
you might have come past that coming from Birmingham.
Yeah.
If you've come down the M6, M1 way.
I don't know, but honestly, I don't know.
I spent too much time travelling.
Time travelling?
No, too much.
We'll come back to that later.
Yeah, if only. We do have Slender Woman up against Peb Canary. Is this Peb Canary's first time with the Star?
I think it is, for sure.
I wonder if they will now see more track time following the expulsion of Geordie. But Star Stash sees him almost get through, but has to recycle.
I think what happened there is oh man, I'm really feeling for the jammer here. So, our jammer, Peb Canary, they went round the wrong bit of the track. This has happened so many times today. The inner yellow circle is not the circle of the track. And then as they recycled themselves correctly, they actually skated into one of our referees. It was not you know, malicious
forcible,
or anything like that. So they've gone for a sit down. They'll be kicking themselves for it, but hey, it's happened.
Superb hit from Chantal by taking out, Evans taking out Slender Woman, who has 4 points and lead, and now a power jam.
Slender Woman doing an absolute fantastic job in this morning's game. At one point, just didn't even need the offense, just hop, skipping and jumping around the place. An absolute dream of a jammer to watch. Yeah,
just managed to fight their way past Dos Santos at the front of the pack. It was Fright Day and Vagabondage going in, trying to open the door. Vagabondage does, peeling off Evans at the front of the pack to allow Slender Woman to pick up 4 more points.
I can just hear the bench coach for Sweden just shouting, points, points, points.
Yeah, that would be Dr. Ox. Can absolutely hear Dr. Ox from up here, and we are at the far side of the track from him. You can still hear him.
There's some people in RollerDerby whose voices, it will just travel like for miles and miles, and other people that you just like, how do you know they spoke?
Yeah.
Alrighty then, we are being treated to a full complement of skaters on the track.
Famous last words. I really can't criticise Dr. Ox for being allowed bench manager as a bench manager myself.
Because
yeah.
Oh, right, I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not criticising. I'm just saying I can hear their voice from the other side of the ocean.
Oh, we've got a power jam. Coco Stroll is off to the box, which gives Plant a power jam chance to try and make up this 16-point differential.
And considering some of the troubles that Tiger Bay have had, 16-point differential is actually really tasty for them. However, I'm saying this with like touched wood and whatever else, because we saw this again in the Birmingham game this morning. The points difference were like 8, then it was 12, and then it was jammer penalty, and then it became a 60-point deficit. So let's hope that with your time travelling knowledge, you'll know where the history is going to repeat itself.
Great recycling there from the Stockholm pack, but Plant does just get through. Oh, massive hit. Sit down.
Oof.
Coco Stroll absolutely dropping Wild, who's straight back up and into it, to be fair.
Yeah. Was that Wild, yeah? Straight up, no messing.
Yeah, might be feeling that one tomorrow. And a forearms penalty now on Plant, so this habit of both jammers picking up penalties in the same jam seems to be continuing.
It's definitely not one that you want to be doing. Penalty, power jam capitalisation is something that teams train and train and train for.
Yeah.
You don't want to make any daft mistakes. You don't want to be losing blockers. But it can happen, and when it does, it just spirals out of control.
Speaking of losing blockers, Rainbow Spike goes to the box there, but I'm sitting there as a bench coach. That penalty opened the hole for your jammer to get through. So it's one of those.
You've got to take one for the team sometimes, haven't you? We've got Scandi Crush at the back of the pack there, making a really horrible day for our wonderful jammer plant at the back of the pack. Penalty box filling up a little bit with Stockholm players as Plant comes through, picks up some points, and I'm sure you can hear through the microphones, a lovely big cheer has just gone up for them in the house as 8 points go on the board for Tiger Bay.
So if we've been talking about the jammer penalties, Tiger Bay have had 5 leads.
Ooh.
They've given 3 away with penalties.
Oof. What a tale of two cities that stat is.
So to keep it as what's currently sat as a 13-point differential.
They're doing really well, I have to say. Like, as you said, King, to keep that differential down when if maybe you were just sort of not looking at the scoreboard, you'd really think that this potentially was a bit of a different game. So where can Stockholm capitalise on this? Because on paper, potentially they should have a lot more in the scoreboard.
So Jenks is out, but a no pass, no penalty on Friday means that not leads. The lead is still open for Smarton, not now as the Star Stash has been done. So we will have another 2-minute jam. As Friday will go to the box for the out of play box just as Foxen returns. And Foxen turns the speed on to make sure that they're in the pack by the time Jenks gets there.
There really is some very intelligent roller derby happening in front of our eyes. Every twist, every turn, every position of the feet has been well considered.
And talk about position of feet, great work from Gents to ride the hit from Scandi Crush. Just keep in bounds and pick up the 4 points. 8 and counting on this jam. As Smarton picks up 4 more. And Jenks matches it straight away.
We are having points left, right and centre here. Losing 1 or 2 players. We've just lost our pivot for Tiger Bay. Can't quite see who that is.
It's Evans.
There we go.
Oh, massive hit on Friday to stop the recycle from Bobber.
Bobber getting back though, back up on her skates, which is what we want to see after that big old hit.
And Friday then moved into offense to open the door for Schmarten to pick up the 4 points. 12 all in this jam so far.
Really clever play. I mean, this is definitely a jam to watch back if you are skating or coaching or something. I think there's quite a lot of tips to be picked up in this jam.
You see now, as a 2 minutes, for the jammers, it is really tiring. You're seeing Jenks just trying to grind away against that wall. And that horrible pairing of Fox and the Scandi Crusher there again. Friday helping out with Rainbow Spike. Smartson picks up a couple of points on the inside.
So I'm going to take a punt that is one of our highest scoring jams, potentially for both teams. 14 picked up by Stockholm, 15 picked up by Tiger Bay, taking us to 55 for Tiger Bay, 67 for Stockholm.
Yeah, it's the joint highest scoring, it's the high scoring combined jam.
Nice.
It's the joint high scoring individually. Slender Woman did put up 15 points earlier.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one.
Still believe the highest jam of the weekend was 29 points in the last game. Oh, no, I'm being corrected by Billy.
All right, I'll wait for that to come through and I'll let you know that we have alarm is your alarm.
And Esparcio with the Star Stash does get through. So the high scoring jam of the weekend is 31 points. That's from Curly Hall for crime against Helsinki.
Oh, well, yeah. Oh, man, I keep forgetting all these amazing moments that have happened in front of us. And what just happened then is a quick hit and quit it for Stockholm, back to their old hit and quit ways, picking up 4 points and denying Tiger Bay any opportunity in that last jam. As we're treated to a little shot of Birmingham Roller Derby, enjoying their post-game food and definitely not post-game alcoholic beverages.
Really?
Hey, I ain't the judge.
So I'm just going to say London Roller Derby's next fundamentals intake is coming soon. So follow London Roller Derby on social media for more info. May the 7th is the next fundamental session from 12 till 2 at Bridge Park Leisure Centre in Stonebridge. The fundamentals train weekly. There's no experience required, but you will need to sort kit, although there will be some bits you can borrow.
Oh, amazing. And if this doesn't make you want to get involved in roller derby, then what will? Because it's fantastic sport, all abilities, all sizes, all shapes. We were just having this off-camera discussion about how inclusive roller derby is. So come and get involved. Whomever you are very welcome.
We see Slender Woman has picked up lead jammer. Plant has stashed the star at the moment, but Evans as pivots towards the front. Slender Woman did just put a foot out of bounds.
Yeah, lovely blocking there from Dos Santos. If you have not seen Tiger Bay for a little while, you'll have been waiting for that Dos Santos hit up the inside, so you have been bestowed upon.
Yeah, there's lots of jammers that have suffered at the hands and hips of Dos Santos for a while.
Oh, 100%. It always makes me laugh potentially when you have a team that haven't played against Tiger Bay before and there's always some plucky blocker goes up against them. You're like, oh, there will be regret.
Yes, usually about half a second after they make contact as they're on their way to the floor.
You're like, I'm so sorry, why did I do that?
So Plant does get through, picks up 4 more points. So 7 points and counting. Slender Woman is on a scoring pass. Scandi Crush delivering the shoulder to the outside and the drop back. And Slender Woman has got through, picked up 4.
Nice bit of offense there from Wild, helping Plant get round the outside. But while that was happening around the inside, around the inside, Slender Woman was being given an assist. But both of our jammers have now been recycled, as we're seeing some very yo-yo-y style play right now.
Yeah, so again, that was number 13, Fright Day with the takeout and drawback, and they're at it again.
They're at it again, love it. Up to their antics.
Absolutely. I'm sure, you know, Fright Day is not an opposition jammer's friend, at least not during the game.
Lovely stuff from both of our teams there. Let's see what that may have done to the scoreboard, though.
Currently at Stockholm All-Stars in the blue on 79, Tiger Bay Brawlers in the orange on 65.
Lovely stuff. Lovely tight game this afternoon, as we are almost at the halfway of the final day here. And then coming up after this game, you will be treated to Grime City Rollers versus Nothing to Lose and Helsinki Roller Derby versus your host London Brawling. Official review, not an official review, what are you talking about? An official timeout has been called.
So we currently have penalties are fairly even, 18 to Stockholm, 16 to Tiger Bay at the moment. And saying the jammer penalties 4 each as well. So, yeah, it's...
Even Stevens.
Yeah, pretty much. Leads are fairly even, penalties are fairly even, points are fairly even.
But again,
this is what we like to see.
We did see this morning, though, so I'm nervous for Tiger Bay for what the half-time brings, if this morning's game is anything to go by.
As Frankie goes to the box for Stockholm as pivot. The star has been dropped by Jenks, and Fury straight away, along with Foxon, tries to basically sit on it just to stop Jenks from getting it, but they have managed to pick the star back up.
Both the pivots are in the box anyway, so there'll be no star passing for a little while.
You know, it's Coco Stroll trying to find a way through the put my teeth back in, through the tripod at the back.
The three-pod.
The three-pod, the tripod, the trifecta.
The thriple.
Somebody's going for something. I think that's Pip Grove for a multiplayer, which does allow Coco Stroll to get through and pick up the points. Evans now does have the star and puts it on for Tiger Bay, but was knocked back and drawn out by Fury, number 55. As Coco hops through the pack, picks up 4 more points.
Yeah, lovely whip round the outside there for Stockholm, while Stockholm are also doing some beautiful defence at the front, really making the most out of this jam.
Absolutely, yeah. It seems to be, as Frankie goes to the box again, when Stockholm can keep 5 players on track, that's when you're seeing the difference, and that's where the spread in the points is coming.
And talking about spread of points, more points possibilities now for Stockholm, as Evans, your jammer for Tiger Bay, has gone to the box, which means Coco will be unopposed on the track. I say unopposed, I mean there's 4 Tiger Bay blockers still.
So Coco decides I think that's actually quite a smart move. It had been quite a long jam.
Freeze that jammer in the box.
Yeah, potentially don't take the risk of picking up a penalty yourself. We've seen a lot of sort of tit-for-tat penalties with the jammers.
And also, as we said earlier, you're kind of icing the jammer pivot in the box as
Yes.
well, which will probably mean now that a jammer will come out as a pivot. Oh, no. I mean, not discrediting anybody's, jamming prowess, but we've got Bobber coming out as the pivot, and...
We have a team timeout, I think, taken by Tiger Bay.
Yeah, really good time for them to take a timeout. I think a little bit of penalties going left, right and centre. 6 minutes left to go in the half, so you might as well take your timeouts while you've got them. Stockholm ever so close with that 16-point jam, very close to picking up that 100 points.
Absolutely. So you've watched pretty much all the games this weekend.
I have.
As have I. What's been your highlight?
Ooh, that's put me on the spot. I mean, obviously, from a totally biased situation, it's been wonderful to see Birmingham RollerDerby on the track. Newly formed teams, so brilliant to see them out of here. I mean, that Rainy City crime game yesterday, oh my God, that was just non-stop enjoyment. It's so hard because it really has been an absolute joy. So I'm being very non-committal about it, I'm afraid.
Well, unfortunately, something that was committed was a second penalty for Evans' jammer. They picked up a cut track and then an insubordination for not leaving the track. So that will extend this power jam. I would have thought there's probably 40-plus seconds on this. Let's see if Schmarten can make the most of it. There are 4 Tiger Bay blockers out there.
Yep.
And Dos Santos one-on-one to beat at the front. Looks very familiar, but Smarten does shrug them off, picks up lead jammer once more for the Stockholm All-Stars. Oh, superb. Rainbow Smite on the inside and Scandi Crush on the outside. Parting the orange sea and allow Smarten to go through and pick up 4 very nice points.
Oh, big old tumble there on the track. But Spartan having absolutely no bother. Coming around the outside, Dos Santos, last sign of defence, but actually realises they're out of play, so doesn't engage, keeps themselves clean and on the track because they're going to need it to build this tripod. Well, it's a 2-pod now.
It's just Dos Santos and Gray at the front as Bob is being held at the back.
Dos Santos with a little hip check to the inside, now a little hip check to the outside. This is the Dos Santos we paid our money for.
As Evans has now returned to the track. Smarten's 8 points this jam so far have seen Stockholm break the 100 barrier.
Nice. Scandi Crush, I don't even need to look at their number now. I know what you're up to. Scandi Crush with the hit to the inside for Evans. Are we thinking that Evans might be looking to pass the star, or do you think that Evans is going to be like, look, I'm doing this?
Well, Evans did used to be a jammer in days gone by.
Oh, there you go. Then you'd be Rebo.
Still got the star on the head. There's no attempt at the minute to pass it.
Fair enough. You crack on, Evans. I've got every faith in you.
And Smartan is cracking on and picks up another 4 points. It's 12 on this jam so far. And this was the extended power jam following the in-sub. Dos Santos with a big shoulder hit at the front to stop Smartan from completing the pass, as Evans does with a beautiful spin move.
Yeah, if you've got moves like that, you don't need to be passing the star. I had every faith in you.
So we'll see the points put up. 15 points again. I think that's the third 15-point jam that we've had this game. 2 for Stockholm, 1 for Tiger Bay.
No points picked up there for Tiger Bay, but they did do an absolutely storming job. Whilst there were 15 points picked up, as you did just say there was still a hell of a lot of power jam diffusion happening. And what a wonderful defence we were treated to, led by Dos Santos. I believe Thorn was in there as well, and Bobber, and there was definitely someone else, so I apologise I missed you off. But I thought about you a lot.
So you mentioned earlier from the first game about how it was sort of fairly even and then Stockholm just seemed to find another gear. The last 4 jams have been 43 points to 10.
Oh, Lordy.
In favour of Stockholm. And Slender Woman is out with your lead jammer again. Although Fright Day is sat on the box, and that is Fright Day's 5th, so they've got to be a little careful.
Yeah, so I don't know whether they'll be freezing Fright Day back at the bench for a little bit, or whether they're just like, you keep going till you go no more. We shall see. But what we are seeing at the front of the pack here is some beautiful defence from number 10, Rainbow Sprite, holding our Tiger Bay jammer.
Could say she was being spiteful.
Oh, she was.
Scandi Crush at the front, but out of play. And too far out of play and picks up the penalty. Fright Day comes back in, opens the door for Slender Woman to pick up 4.
Scandi Crush is off to the penalty box, and it sort of feels like 52 whistles were all blown at once then. But we have only got 1 penalty been assessed. No, we've got 2. We have got 2 of Stockholm in the penalty box. So we've got Rainbow, Scandi Crush, and
I think that's Izoaho. Oh.
Come on, you said you knew all of them.
Izoaho.
Put you on the spot for that one.
No, that was me getting frustrated at myself not knowing. I think it was Izoaho.
Right, you have to do 10 press-ups if you were wrong. That's what we're going with today.
Uh-oh, they're adding up. Stockholm have had lead jam 5 in a row, but that's now been stopped by Plant, although Lam is not far behind.
Tiger Bay really do have the chance to dominate this jam with only 2 of Stockholm on the track at the moment. Plant, who I'm pretty sure was some kind of junior figure skater, skateboard champ, some crazy fact like that. I'm sure I've heard that before. Is having an absolutely storming of a time around the track, ping-ponging themselves around past the players. As we see them coming round the corner and straight through, big old hatful of points.
Yeah, there was just Foxen and Fury on track, but they have now been joined. It was Izoaho and Scandi Crush. And Fury this time with the takeout and trying to draw back. Lam pushing up the front, being held. Not getting very far, but nor is Plant at the back. Although 1 less Tiger Blade blocker now, so they have had to drop Bridge in to keep the pack.
We've lost another one of our Stockholm blockers, so we've got 1 apiece in the box. Dos Santos at the front of the pack, just doing what Dos Santos does, really. But there are points everywhere at the moment for our jammers.
Yeah, currently 12-8 on this jam, and Scandi Crush and Izoaho are back in the box. They started there, and they're currently sat there. And Plant finds a beautiful line on the outside. 16 points. This is our highest scoring jam of the game.
Dos Santos been joined by number 50. That's great, sorry. And number, I can't tell you. And Thorn, sorry. Doing some wonderful work at the top of the track. This is going to be a jam that Tiger Bay are going to have on pause, stop, repeat.
Absolutely. Although Foxen might also as well, 1-on-1, as Fury had gone to the box, leaving Foxen on their own. Did manage to knock the jammer off to the inside.
Plant just as an apex jump that nobody needed, but popped one in anyway. Love their work. Sure. Right, what's gone on with the scoreboard then? Because this is getting crazy.
So it's 20 points to 11. 86 Tiger Bay, 129 for Stockholm. And that'll be half time. Wait, what? Where did that go?
I know, but I think a good time for half time to be hit. That was a fantastic jam to watch, but I think both teams are going to want a minute. Well, they get, about 13. Have a minute or two to potentially, I don't want to say chill, but maybe just kind of like work a little, just have a little bit of, I'm going to say chill. This is the best word I can think of.
I think that the half-time has unfortunately come at the wrong time for Tiger Bay.
Yeah, true.
Having just had that big jam and gained some momentum back. You know, Stockholm had 5 leads in a row before that jam. So for them to get lead, pick that up, rack up 20 points, and now half-time, although there is currently a bench coach in the middle, but no, I think we are at half-time.
Alrighty then, well, I think we're all going to need a chamomile tea after that one. Go and have a rest and we'll be back with you in about 13 minutes. See you in a bit. Alrighty then, we are back here for game number 8 here at Anarchy number 7. The game started at 1 o'clock, and if you think that's a lot of numbers, brace yourselves because here's King Crazy with some wonderful stats from the first half.
Yes, we've got some penalty stats. Stockholm have had 26 total penalties, of which 4 have been jammer penalties. Tiger Bay, 23 penalties, and 6 have been jammer penalties. But what's perhaps more interesting or concerning for Tiger Bay is 6 times that they've got lead, but 3 times they've then lost lead with a jammer penalty.
Oof.
Whereas Stockholm have had 9 leads and had a jammer penalty once following that. So as we're currently sat with a 43-point differential, that probably the power jams will play a part.
Yeah, definitely. And we were just treated to a shot of Tiger Bay there, getting some insights from one of their bench staff, the one and only Kid Block, who I think we're going to hear on the airwaves pretty soon.
Yes, I believe Kid will be
making their announcer debut.
Yeah, on the last game of the day, which is Helsinki versus London Brawling.
Oh, I'm excited to hear that.
Approximately 5 p.m.
Yeah, I think we might be running a tiny bit over today, but who cares? What else are you going to do today? Go to IKEA? Doubtful.
It's a bank holiday as well, so you don't have to do anything tomorrow either.
No, you don't, unless, of course, you're one of those unfortunate people who have to work bank holidays. But not me anymore, because I got a corporate job.
Same. Absolutely same.
All righty then, just a couple of seconds left to go until we'll be starting this second half. We have got Tiger Bay Brawlers in the orange, and they're sitting at 86 points. But we have Stockholm All-Stars in the blue, and they're with 129.
And we have Jenks has the start first up for Tiger Bay, up against Schmarten.
There is one apiece in the penalty box. Not to dwell on it, but there was a expulsion in the first half. We have lost one of Tiger Bay, so they are going to be one skater down and absolutely ready to capitalise on that. It is Stockholm, but straight away Jenks coming out chasing that jammer down.
Yeah, superb toe-stop work just on the outside from Schmarten to get through. Offense trying to hold back one of the Tiger Bay blockers to pick up a little bit of low-hanging fruit.
No fruit.
No fruit?
No fruit.
Oh.
2 fruits.
2 fruits. 2 pieces of fruit.
Oh, it's like a gambling machine thingy. I only just about learned how they work the other day when I was in a pub in Cardiff, but didn't win, so I'm very sad about that. So that was my gambling career over in a flash.
Well, you could argue that they've got 2 pieces of orange.
Oh, a segment?
A segment, a couple of segments.
A couple of Satsumas, eh?
And up for this segment with the stars are Coco Struel for Stockholm and Espacio for Tiger Bay.
You just want to say their name because you know that I can't manage it, and I'll call them like escargot or something.
I'm trying to help you out, Cherry.
And I do appreciate it 100%. And also appreciating their toe-stop work at the front there. 26-26, Coco Struel for Stockholm through for lead. And we've had a star pass.
Yeah, Evans now has the star once more for Tiger Bay. Coco Struel launching his Oaho, their own skater, out of the way to get through.
And just as you said that, Evans did that as well. Pushing Bobber through, I think hoping to grab a point from Stockholm. Unable to do that in this instance, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see Evans picking up a few points this afternoon. A few more points, I should add. Yeah,
they've picked up a few so far. And taking to the jammer line, we have number 31 Plant for Tiger Bay, up against 530 Slender Woman.
Lovely explosive start from both of our jammers there. Absolutely planting themselves in that Stockholm tripod. Slender Woman at the back of the pack having exactly the same welcome party from Tiger Bay's tripod being led together there by Camp and Wild. And I always miss the third person whenever I do a tripod.
As a Slender Woman being held back on his side. Did just keep the feet inside. Who's going to get lead?
Oh, they're both good at
They can't decide. They cannot decide between them. Like, Slender Woman has been given lead.
Oof, no one was ready for that, were they? As in me.
Yeah, that was one of those where, I mean, we're sat here, we're watching the screen, the refs are in the best position, and even they weren't sure who was lead.
I think I heard a penalty being called, so I don't know if there was a little bit of on one of the blockers. As we can see, we've got 2 each in the penalty box. I don't know if there was a slight confusion over one of the potentially been the jammer that received the penalty, but they didn't. So we've got 2 blockers for Stockholm, 2 blockers for Tiger Bay, and 1 jammer apiece. That's mini roller derby.
That's Jenks up against Lam, with the star Lam being drawn back by Bobber.
Lovely defence at the front of the pack at the back of the pack, sorry, as you said, by Bobber. But at the front, we've got Scandi Crush holding off Evans. Real big battle there at the front, but it is Evans who is victorious this time, coming through, grabbing lead for Tiger Bay.
So Jenks picks up Tiger Bay's first lead of the period, following 3 straight for Stockholm to start.
Nice.
Lam is through, and Scandi Crush takes Jenks to the inside. That's been a battle all game, those 2.
Yeah. Been loving that. Whilst there's been some absolutely brilliant, as we said before, like offense and jammer pairings and defense tripod pairings you know what I mean. We've also seen some really good matchups as well.
Yes.
Whether it's let's be honest, whether it's the tall people next to each other, where it's the slightly shorter people next to each other, or when it's the kind of like...
The contrast, yeah.
The contrast mix, I've been absolutely loving. And as we've said many times on the stream today, and I'm sure you will join us at home and agree, it's just wonderful to have Roller Derby back in front of our very eyes.
Absolutely, yeah.
So big shout out to you. Thank you for purchasing your pass today. Thank you to the other people sat in the room that didn't purchase the pass, but just went to the house of the person who did purchase it. I hope you bought beers, supplies, pizza, snacks, and all that type of stuff. And if not, then you're just feeling very shamed right now.
Somebody who's not shamed is Smarton, who's picked up lead jammer once more. Star has been passed, though, for Tiger Bay. Pip Gray, number 62, now has the star.
Wonderful work there from Pip round the outside. Pop in the star. Go on then. Pop the star on your head. Get ready to score. But Stockholm up to their antics once more with the old hit it and quit it.
Yes, Foxon returns to the box.
Is this Fox? Hang on, are we in trouble with Foxon yet?
No, Foxon's got 4.
Oh, okay. Who am I worried about?
Fright Day and Fury at the moment are both on 5.
Okie dokie. We'll be keeping an eye out then. As we said, Stockholm came with a roster of 12. Tiger Bay came with a full roster, which doesn't, it's not always on paper how that works out, but it is always good to have a little bit of depth in your bench when needed. But, I mean, Stockholm absolutely storming it. Didn't have the best day yesterday, and I say didn't have the best day. They were playing London, so, I'm hardly holding it against them. Storming game against Birmingham and absolutely storming it today. 87 playing, 136. And we've still got ages left to go, so, dig into that pizza that the person who didn't pay for the pass brought round and get ready.
So taking the stars this time, we have 2626 Coco Struhl up against 44 Espacio. And this is one of those contrasts when you see Espacio up against Scandi Crush at the front.
Yeah, lovely to see this. Scandi Crush has been my absolute favourite to watch. Oh, I said the favourite word. But quite a favourite in the house now. Espacio coming through for lead. I think there was so much love in the house, seeing them back up on their skates after taking a couple of years break, which has been a story we've seen a few times this weekend.
Yes.
Some returning skaters, for whatever reason, they took their breaks and they're back on their skates. Fantastic to see.
And Espacio gets through, picks up 4 points. Coco Struhl has stashed the star, but couldn't pass it because Foxon, as pivot, was in the box. Coco... Did they just get past Dos Santos?
I was just cheering for Dos Santos.
I don't think so. You can see Coco there coming back, being brought all the way back from turn 3 all the way to turn 1. However, we've got it's Rainbow Smite taking back Espacio as well. We have some backwards roller derby.
Hey, let's go back a few years then.
Both gemmers now have re-engaged with the respective walls.
And we've got a full complement of skaters on the track.
We'll see how long that lasts.
We've got tripods holding jammers, and we've got the offense person just be like, I'm bridging, but I'm ready for offense.
Yeah, absolutely right. And you see, at the minute, it's Fright Day trying to hold back Espacio as Coco Struhl does fight their way through.
Lovely last line of defence there from Evans, holding off Coco, but did manage to get through. And oh no, I did really well earlier, didn't I?
Espacio.
Espacio. What a beautiful name, and I'm ruining it. I do apologise. Calling it off?
We do. I think we are going to have potentially a power jam start for Tiger Bay.
What happened?
And we're going to get an official review. I was watching it on the screen, and it's at the end of the jam as Coco Struhl came round on the outside. Dos Santos, there was a collision between the two.
Was it after the whistle?
It was after the whistle, but there was arguments from what I could see as who was the initiator, because it looked like Coco was going towards, it looked like Dos Santos moved out.
I love it in the house when there's an official review.
That's exactly
there we go.
That's exactly the point. So it would have been about Dos Santos moving out. So did Dos Santos, were they the initiator? Was Coco Struhl on an established trajectory? That's one for the referees to decide, who don't have the benefit of replay.
They do not, just their own brains and eyes. And what I'm quite enjoying in the house is whenever there's an official review now, they're turning the music up really loud. It's as if to say, you talk amongst yourselves, kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And while we do have this official review, a massive thank you to all of our officials, our photographers, our volunteers, our DJs, the medics, the techs, the coaches, the skaters, the track repair crew, the people selling the merch, the people selling the refreshments, the people taking tickets on the door. And of course, don't forget, the announcers don't do a bad job.
I mean, some of them do.
Well,
number one on the list, Very Cherry, obviously.
Obviously.
No, and also it's worth mentioning, we've had some people first time announcing this weekend, not me, I'm just clumsy, joining us as well. There is a space in roller derby for everybody if you want to announce, if you want to officiate, if you want to help with the bench team, if you want to just help being part of the organisation, you want to join a tech squad. What an exclusive, wonderful place this is for not just people's skills, personality, talents, orientations, whatever.
There is a space for everybody. Ooh, it looks like the official review might be successful because Coco Straw was just told by Jam Ref Shugs Bunny to leave the box.
Oh. And is Dos Santos going to sit down or is he just going to wipe the power jam? No.
So Slender Woman is coming out to jam.
All righty then. So that says to me that power jam was successful, but no penalties so far. No one's gone over to Tiger Bay to put any like Dos Santos in the box, so I'm assuming it's just all, clear on the horizon.
So hopefully
just made up an expression.
We will get an update on that, but what we can see, as I say, Slender Woman is there jamming, and I'll keep an eye on the scoreboard just next to the individual jam scores. You can see Stockholm's official review is flashing at the moment. If that returns, then we know their official review was successful. If it doesn't, we know they lost it.
Fair. I mean, it's only ever going to go one or two ways. Oh, and they've turned the music down now, so it feels tense.
So one of our fantastic announce crew this weekend, Shift, has just run back from the middle to let the house announcers know, and we'll probably be popping it on so we can see for certain.
But what we can see is there's no one in the penalty box. This is a full-on skaterama, and Slender Woman coming through, grabbing lead. Jenks taking the star off, trying to hand it over to number 62, Pip Gray. Does the work themselves, comes through. But now we have Slender Woman ready to score.
Fury opens up the inside line, illegally, I think.
There's been some calls. Who's going off? It is number 55. We're losing one of our blockers from Stockholm. That's Fury.
And that's their sixth penalty.
Eek.
So they will need to be careful. Wild with a big hit on Slender Woman as the jam is called off.
I love how Wild hits people. It's like they were just looking in the other direction. They were like, oh, yeah, and you're getting hit.
So just an update on the official review from the last jam. Stockholm were looking for a cut on the Tiger Bay Jammer for not fully leaving the track to seed in turn 4. The refs weren't able to call it as between them they didn't see it fully, and you can't call what you don't see. So the penalty for Coco Straw looks like it was rescinded by the referees after discussion, because as I thought at the time, you couldn't be certain watching the replay, you couldn't be certain who the initiator was.
And if we can't be certain watching the replay, then there's no chance that people who don't have, as you said, the joy of the replay, there's no, what is it like, VAR, TOA and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
In roller derby, not yet. I mean, there's definitely discussions for it, but we're not here for that today.
No. Lam have picked up lead. Star have been passed to Evans. 4 points picked up by Lam. They hit it and quit it. Again, Stockholm just looking to eke out that lead.
Yeah, this is very similar to the game we had this morning against Birmingham. Birmingham, Cardiff only, 2 hours apart. You could go through the hills or you could go over the bridge, your choice. I've done both lovely. I mean, I do enjoy going over the bridge, though.
There is something about, if you do enjoy going over a bridge, go to Malmo from Copenhagen.
Oh.
And I'll come back to that in a moment.
Bridge chat will be later.
Yes, as we have Schmarten and Jenks with the stars. Jenks pushing at the front. Schmarten, one to beat on the inside, make that 2 as Wild got back in there. But with a little hop, skip and a jump, Schmarten picks up lead.
Lovely star pass there. Is that Pip Gray, number 62?
It
Don't
is,
even know why I'm asking.
But there's also a high block penalty called on Fury. That might be the end of Fury's day.
Oof. I mean, what a day. If it is the end, what a day you've had.
Yeah, Fury has been very effective as well blocking, and is one of those unsung blockers. They don't do the big hits, but they're one of the ones that just holds everything together.
You say unsung, but you should have heard the announcement in that other game, because me and B couldn't contain our love.
Quick changeover as Rainbow Smite runs out onto the track instead of Fright Day. Although Stockholm only have 2 blockers on track and 1 in the box.
Oh, so do you think they've made a bit of a boo-boo?
I think they have, yeah. I think there's been a little bit of miscommunication. And Pep Canary is trying to make the most of that, but everybody falls down. And Rainbow Smite was bouncing at the back thinking that there was a cut. And now has got a out of play or failure to reform penalty, one or the other. Scandi Crush just 1 left to beat at the front. Called out of play.
Yeah, sadly when you haven't got many blockers, there's no one to bridge you in. There's someone to go, I'm bridging.
So Coco Stroll is trying to get through that strong forwall.
Oh,
bit of friendly fire.
fire.
Dos Santos decided to had enough of hitting Stockholm jammers, decides to hit a Tiger Bay jammer for good measure.
Oh, so terrible when that happens. You feel so bad, but don't feel bad, Dos Santos, because you've been putting some wonderful hits in. And we do think that this is potentially the first times we've seen Pep Canary, unless they're skating under a different name. I think they're quite new, so I'm going to give them credit.
Not a name that I recognise.
And also, fun fact, because I'm going to give Tiger Bay all my love, there's a cracking cocktail bar in Cardiff called Dead Canary. Maybe their name is a take on it.
Possibly.
Either way, go, because you'll have a lovely time. Tell them Trevi sent you.
Fair enough. So we've got a timeout for Stockholm. So we can go back to the bridge chat.
Oh, yes, please.
So, yeah, there's Copenhagen and Denmark and Malmo on the southwest tip of Sweden are actually quite close, but there's a big stretch of water.
Yeah.
So they actually built a bridge, the Öresund Bridge, to go through it. And when you go over it on the train, if you look at just the right point, you can actually see where it changes from Denmark to Sweden, because they've got the flags on the wall.
Oh, that's pretty.
Which is quite cool.
Is that how Steve gets from one to the other?
I would have thought so, yeah. It makes sense.
Steve he lives in Copenhagen. I'm just chatting about people now. Lives in Copenhagen, but bench coaches Malmo?
Yeah, Crime City. He's a bench coach for Crime City.
I just asked you a question while you took the world's biggest glug of pop then. I do apologise. It's like when a waiter comes over and goes, how's your food? And you're like, I want to complain, but I've got a mouthful of garlic bread. So you're getting away with it this time. Oh, my Lord, what a game. Have you got some little stats to read us there?
So, no, it's just we think that the bench coach, Dr. Ox, was using the timeout to discuss the foul out on Fury.
Oh.
Or potentially to discuss other penalties. Maybe something to do with why they only had 3 blockers.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right.
And both benches have been talking to jam refs and the front IPR, front inside pack ref, I should say, with a few questions. Vagabondage will go to the box as Plant has lead jammer.
Yeah, lovely work there from Plant, almost kind of doing their own offence around the outside. Bin ran back to the back of the pack by number 31. There isn't 31, so I've obviously made that up.
No, that was, it was Rainbow Spite that was in there for Stockholm with the drawback as Thorn goes to the penalty box.
Lovely bit of 2 walling, now 1 walling, thanks to Kemp and Wild at the front of the pack. Plant now just 1 blocker left to get past. Now 1 more, but it's a different blocker and a classic bean dip around the outside.
And a superb 1-footed glide around the outside, riding the hit from Slender Woman to pick up 4 points.
So this jam has had absolutely thrills and spills, but we were almost on even Steven scores, and then we saw Plant coming around and grabbing 8. So we've had 4 picked up for Stockholm, 8 points picked up by Tiger Bay. We've got 17 minutes left to go in this game, so plenty of time for lead changes and all sorts of lollapaloozas to happen.
Foxon, and this time Rainbow Spite is going to draw the track cut. Foxon with the takeout, Rainbow Spite with the drawback, gets the power jam. So that's another lead that Tiger Bay have lost.
But what we have seen many times in this game, as you've said, is when we've had power jams, they've not been alone.
No.
So we've got, I mean, there's only like 20 seconds left to go in this jam, but are we going to see a pure power jam?
It's interesting. I don't know. I didn't see exactly when Plant sat down. So
they're standing now.
I think it'll be a power start for Stockholm to start the next jam. We'll see in a few seconds.
There we go.
It will be. Plant is still in the penalty box as the jam is called. 154 plays 115 in favour of Stockholm.
Plant is in the penalty box, as you said, been joined by a blocker apiece. Both of those blockers are standing up at the moment. So we'll have a little bit of a mini pack to start, and then bush, everyone's going to come flying out. I mean, they might not, but that's generally what happens. I love it when you get a bit of the cavalry's arriving.
So we've had the first, that star pass to Scandi a couple of jams ago was the first Stockholm star pass of the game.
Really?
I might explain why I've not said Foxton's name as much as I thought I would.
Go on then. Oh, because we haven't started. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. I thought they were two separate sentences.
No, they do run in together. Plant is out of the box and is now pushing one-on-one with Tractorn.
There is a lot of people hitting the deck right now, and there's... Okay, so we've got Plant at the front, one-on-one. At the front there, I think that is Rainbow Sprite doing their business at the front. But that cheer you may well have heard was Plant getting through. And a star pass, another one. You ask for one, you get two.
It's Scandi Crush.
Scandi Crush is your jammer for Stockholm.
So Plant dipping low to get past Flam, the jammer turned blocker. Scandi Crush trying to find a gap on the outside. As Dos Santos comes in to try and open up the door on, that was Tractorn, but it was illegal, and Plant is still held back.
But we're losing a Stockholm blocker as well. Both of our jammers not having a very nice time at the moment, thanks to some beautiful, almost just two walls happening from our players as we've got players in the box. But with a twist and turn, that's Plant through for their scoring pass. So we're at 4 apiece at the moment, and
Evans dropping Scandi Crush.
Oof.
And Scandi decided, you know what, I've had enough. I'm just going to go back to my default role of blocking.
I like it.
Probably got most of the 4 points, if not all of them.
There is currently 4 points apiece on the board now, so clever work by Scandi Crush if this means that whilst they have gone into the blocking so can't score any more points, it does stop Tiger Bay scoring any more points, and it does retain their lead, which with 13 minutes left to go still could be taken away.
And we've got Scandi has knocked Plant off to the inside and drawn them all the way back. Again, just limiting the opportunity for points. And that will be an 8-7 win in favour of Stockholm in that jam. 40-point differential with 13 and a half minutes to go.
But we did start that jam, let's not forget on a power jam for Tiger Bay, no, for Stockholm.
We did, yes.
So for Tiger Bay, credit to them for almost matching them like for like in a power jam situation when the power jam is against you.
It looks like Dos Santos picked up 2 penalties in that last jam. Smarson gets through very quickly for lead jammer. Jenks one-on-one with Foxton. Frankie trying to help out, but a little hop sees Jenks escape the pack. And Smarson comes in, calls the jam quickly. Spud, donut.
Goose egg.
Absolutely.
Interesting you said Dos Santos had 2 penalties. I don't think they did, because they were out the penalty box pretty quickly. Oh, I mean...
Well, they were in for quite a while of the previous jam as well.
Maybe I've just forgotten how time worked.
Yeah. Time goes quickly.
So slowly when you're, you know, on the M25.
Just been informed by our fantastic producer Billy that there was a misconduct penalty issued to Dos Santos in the penalty box.
There you go. Tiger Bay not having much fun in the penalty box, are they?
No. And so it's Coco Stroll blast away through, picks up lead jammers. Espacio is held at the back. Lucky Star is off, but no pivot to pass to as Pip Gray has sat down in the penalty box.
Yeah, I really am seeing history repeat itself from this morning's game. For anybody who did watch the Birmingham game, very similar scenarios are being played out. I sort of feel like Birmingham now, there's loads of them in the crowd still stay to watch, are going to be waiting to see potentially like who got the better score differentiation.
Yeah. As Coco calls the jam off as Espacio had escaped the pack. Although the downside for Stockholm is that Scandi Crush is currently in the box.
Uh-oh. Yeah, but when they come out, when they come charging out.
Yeah, the Jammer needs a little bit of offence. Scandi Crush being released from the box is not the worst option.
Because also you could do a really sneaky star pass as well if you wanted
do.
with the pivot. I mean, here's me giving my tactics away. Could have done a boot camp. No one would ever come to that.
Nope, we've got official timeout. As both jammers started to go and then realised there was more than one whistle.
Do you remember the 2 whistles?
Yes, yes, I've been around Derby that long.
Oh man, I can't even imagine how that worked now. It was like everyone had to pass the line, didn't they?
Everybody had to pass the pivot line, or there had to be a no pack, which is when you'd get the knee. One team would all kneel down.
Not stupid knee start, but I hated doing it, is why I called it stupid. It's so funny. I mean, if you're new to roller derby, honestly, treat yourself to YouTube and go watch some dinosaurs playing roller derby. And you will see. Poodling, we talked about it yesterday. I even scared one of my fellow announcers by explaining the 3-period thing.
Oh, good
If you want that, I was going to say if you're 3 periods on, but that sounds a bit weird. If you've played a roller derby game with 3 periods, come and join me on my boot camp of people whose knees probably really hurt. What else is from the oldie days?
Minor penalties?
Minors. I remember when they used to do a thing in the penalty box where you had to do like a little forfeit or something, like spin the wheel and do something.
Yeah, I used to see those more on the charity games than fun games.
Yeah, so new people just, enjoy it as it is, because it was wild.
Oh, bank track. Oh, bank track still does exist.
There's probably one in America somewhere still.
Oh, there's a few still. Anyway, forgetting about that, Slender Woman has Lee Jammer. Yeah, our recollection of days gone by. Just reminiscing about the olden derby.
The oldie derby. But all jokes aside, you can go onto YouTube. Other streaming things are available, I'm sure. But you can go and watch some cracking games. Some of those very early, like USA games. Maybe go and check out some like Rose versus Gotham. Go and check out some early London. Oh, there's just so much. There's so much. There's some really good stuff from like the Manchester World Cup. If you want to go and see some fantastic games, honestly, it'd be an absolute treat of an afternoon.
So I can't remember which year the playoffs were, but when London and Rose City had an amazing game.
What a game.
Anyway, back to amazing games. Plant has Lee Jammer trying to put up points for Tiger Bay for the first time in 4 jams. And it is a power jam. Lam is currently sat in the naughty bin.
Big cheer there for Plant coming through. As you said, the only jammer on track at the moment, picking up 4 points, squeezing their non-lead, however I word that out, and desperately trying to grab some more points, but Stockholm desperately trying to stop that from happening.
Brilliant combination. Scandi Crush with a takeout, Fright Day and Tracktorn with the drawback. So that was Plant finds a gap round the outside. Scandi Crush sits in the box again. That's her 5th.
Yeah, I mean, we've still got 9 minutes left to go in this game. Are Stockholm going to undo themselves a little bit here by picking up more penalties? Who's that going to the box now?
Again. That's Alarm who picked up 5 penalties very quickly against Birmingham this morning. Up until this jam had been clean.
Eek. But let's not discredit all the work that Tiger Bay and Plant is doing on the track at the moment. That beautiful 2-wall being led by Wild. We've got Bubba at the front, but Plant is through. Waves at, I don't know, Sausage, one of the in-house announcers. If you've got time to wave at announcers, you've got time to get some more points in.
Absolutely.
And speaking of points, 12 points already on the board, unopposed in this Power Jam scenario. But I do believe this is the Power Jam and all penalties rescinded.
And Star Pass completed to Scandi Crush.
When I said rescinded, I meant they were over. The literal incorrect word.
Big jam, 16-point jam for Plant and Tiger Bay.
What's the difference? I can't work those numbers out.
29.
Ooh. And we saw a 29-point jam, didn't we? 30. We've seen big numbers.
We've seen a 29-point jam this morning from Well Up For It for Rainy City, and 31 points from Cullyhall yesterday for Crime City.
So if any of these Tiger Bay jammers want to channel some of those jammers now, the game's yours.
Absolutely. Or if a Stockholm jammer, in this case Martin, can channel that might be enough to eke out the lead and potentially...
I mean, Smarten just needs to channel Smarten, really, don't they?
Now, Star's on the track. Jenks did try and pass it to Evans, but during the exchange, the Star got dropped. Jenks has picked it up again. And Evans is trying to get there to help out, but Rainbow Spike doing a good job just keeping the pivot away. Smarten doing a better job, just going around and picking up points, although as I say that, they get absolutely stuck.
Oh, lovely work, though, from Jenks. Backwards skating, side surfing, no messing, right round the outside there, puts the Star on. Doesn't manage to pick any points up there, but it does cause a call-off, which means Stockholm picked up, I was going to say only 6. I'm sure they thought they were probably going to get 1 or 2 more in that jam. 1:38 taking on 1:73. Just under 7 minutes left to go in this second half.
And we have Plant with the Star once more for Tiger Bay up against Slender Woman. So Plant, second time in 3 jams, but last time out they did put up 16 points. And away we go again.
Yeah, just taking a little second then, just to breathe it all in. Back to the tripods and the jammers having a horrid time. Plant at the front of the pack, up against Scandi Crush, uses their hips around kind of the waist there of Scandi Crush coming round.
And Slender Woman being drawn all the way back there by Pip Gray, which also has the added advantage of bringing the pack closer to Plant to pick up the points.
It does, but now there is a whole kerfuffle going on at the back of the pack. And while that was going on, Slender Woman managed to nip themselves up the inside. While Plant is still a little bit stuck in this pack.
Yes, Fright Day, Track Torn and Scandi Crush doing a grand job. And a lovely hug between Fright Day and Plant at the end of that jam, walking off arm in arm, or skating off arm in arm, I should say.
Oh, we have seen so much kind of like, what's the word I'm after? So much competitive love, if that's, that's what I mean.
It is now.
You know what I mean, not competitive love. That sounds like some sort of Romeo and Juliet thing.
Just friendship and just appreciation, just people having fun on track, and so happy to have events like this back.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just going to take the chance, sorry, just to, again, just give recognition to Gendered Intelligence. Registered charity works with increasing the understanding of gender diversity and to improve the quality of the life for trans people. They are trans-led and trans-involving grassroots organisation, and they run training campaigns and support services for the trans and gender non-conforming community. We're really proud here at Anarchy to give them a platform, so please check out their website at genderedintelligence.co.uk. You can make a donation on their website, or if it's easier, you can keep an eye out for a QR code on our stream adverts in between the games.
Fantastically read there, thank you. I've just noticed something else for those people who want to remember like old school derby. Steve from Crime City has just walked in to do his captain's meeting. He has a Track Queens bag on him.
Word.
Track Queens was a world first. I'm going to say world first because for most teams in Europe, it was the first time we all got to travel to Berlin and do a fantastic roller derby in this like dark warehouse of a venue. It was absolutely nuts. It was the first time we got to see some of our fantastic skaters from like Helsinki, from I think Berlin were obviously there. They were the host team. It was an absolutely amazing tournament. I'm sure footage of it exists somewhere. Drink it in. My team went in 9th, came out 10th. What more could you ask for?
Absolutely. Well, League Gemma, but Coco Straw's got that, so you can't have that either.
Oh, it's not looking good for me.
As Coco now is on scoring pass one-on-one with Evans. Jenks trying to find a way around the outside and does. Foxon and Rainbow Smite bring in the offense to open up the door for Coco. 4 points, hit and quit it.
Lovely stuff.
Oh, excuse me. Just to remind you, we do have 2 more games coming up. After this one, we'll see Crime City Rollers versus Nothing to Lose, and then approximately 5 p.m, Helsinki versus London Brawling.
I was really confused then because Billy sent me a stat about track queens, about ARG, and I was like, I don't think ARG are playing right now, but I was very confused. They were down to 9 skaters by the last game. But anyway, that's a tournament. Buy me a drink at a bar and I'll tell you all about the old days.
Don't need to buy you a drink. You'll do it anyway.
That is true.
Anyway, we have Smarten and Plant with the stars. Back to more serious action. Smarten finds the gap, gets through, and Plant running outside. Want to beat Rainbow Spy and does so.
Oh, that was lovely. You could see it happening. You were like, this is either going to be a splat on the floor or a beautiful cross jump, and it was a beautiful cross jump.
Jam called. Smarten picks up 2 points.
Do you think we're going to get a double century?
4 minutes to go, 21 points.
Place your bets now.
It's going to be close.
So what are you saying?
So I'm just having a look. Stockholm have no stoppages left. They've used their official review, no timeouts. Tiger Bay do have a timeout and their official review. It'll be interesting. 39 points. If Tiger Bay can put up a big jam, sort of 15 plus points on this one, do they start to use the timeout and the official review to stop the clock and get that extra game time to give them a chance to come back as Jenks rides Friday's hits? There's lead, that's the first start. Scandi Crush and Dos Santos at the front of the pack following the star pass, but Scandi is through.
Jets coming up to the back of the pack. They're doing that sort of trademark shoulder. You don't know which way I'm going, but what we do know is they are through and they have grabbed a whole load of points. While Scandi Crush is literally just grabbing Tiger Bay skaters and chucking them around. Obviously not grabbing them and chucking them, doing very lovely roller derby.
Dos Santos has picked up a penalty. So we're seeing that Stockholm have picked up 14 points in the last 5 jams. The Tiger Bay's at 18 in 7. Jenks calls it. I think that's 8 all on that jam. So tied jams suit Stockholm. And we now have Tiger Bay are using their timeout to try and manage the clock.
Interesting. So 8 points picked up there by Stockholm. So back to my double century conversation. I'm saying it, they're doing it.
You go for it.
I'm going to say we're going to get Tiger Bay, or at least going to get to 150, and Stockholm are going to get to 200. I can't do maths, so I don't know whether that's better or worse than the differentiation this morning against Birmingham.
The differential this morning was 51 points. Ooh. This is currently sat at 39.
So really, there is something quite here to play for.
Which makes me think I'd like to see Tiger Bay play Birmingham.
Do it.
I'd love to. I was going to say.
All right, I'll organise it.
yeah, you're BRD, you can organise it.
I'll get on the phone.
Absolutely.
Oh, we could come to Cardiff though, because then I love a good night out. I can tell you all the hot spots.
Oh yes, you were celebrating your wedding anniversary there last weekend.
I was indeed. 9 years. Just little referee met doing roller derby.
Oh, roller derby couple.
But I refuse to have the same name, so he's changed to his real name, so that means I can't, because I'm not doing that.
Not that kind of couple.
Absolutely not. Got to keep the spice alive, babes.
So a couple of jammers now. Coco Straw taken out by Pip Gray. Wild with a drawback, but Plant knocked to the inside. That was Vagabondage with a knockout, and Rainbow Spike with the drawback. Coco Straw now re-entered. 3-wall at the front. 3-wall also at the back, holding back Plant. Coco Straw looking back, saying, any chance of some offence?
Absolutely not. We've got to hold these jammers to court, if that's an expression. Beautiful defence by both of our teams there, but someone has got to give somewhere.
Don't have to. It could be the jam timer in 2 minutes, but there's lead jammer for Plant. It's Coco Straw knocked out and drawn back once more by Pip Gray.
Oh, that was popular in-house.
Although Foxen I did notice, tap the head, realise they do have the pivot cover. Vagabondage, the captain, doing a captain's job. Star pass completed to Foxen.
Lovely stuff there. So yes, star pass there. Plant being recycled to the back of the pack. No lead's been caught. No, sorry, Plant is lead, I do apologise. So they can control this game, but they could also go and get a whole lot of points.
Yeah, Foxen is now the jammer of record for Stockholm, being drawn back by Wild. Long way back as well. As Plant gets through on the outside, just manages to sneak past Coco Straw, the jammer turn blocker.
There we go, 150, 152 for Tiger Bay. They're exceeding expectation. Come on, Stockholm, you've got a few more to get now.
So there should be time for at least one more jam after this one. Foxen pushing at the front. As penalty goes to Thorn. Frees up Foxen, who picks up the 4.
Plant goes in the middle, does a dance with all of the refs in the middle.
Little tap on Shugs Bunny. We have an official review called by Tiger Bay, but only to be used as a timeout, just to make sure that we do get that one more jam. 36-point gap. It would take the highest scoring jam of the weekend.
For Tiger Bay to win?
Yes, or to potentially take the lead, and they'd have to do that and hold Stockholm scoreless.
And Stockholm need to score 9 points to get to 200 to make the tournament, in my mind, happy.
I think there's part of me, though, that thinks that if Stockholm, and it looks like Smarton will be jamming.
Hit it and quit it?
Yeah.
Not even hit it, just in and out.
Get lead.
Get it
call
off.
It.
Get it off.
You know, pick up the lead jammer, pick up the win, and pack up and hurry off to the airport, because I know the majority of them are flying back from Gatwick tonight.
Oh, man, Gatwick, what a pain.
To be fair, from here, it's probably the easiest airport to get to.
Okay, so all the airports are available, I'm sure they're lovely. Alrighty then, everybody wanted it. One more jam, one more jam. We're getting that one more jam. So strap yourselves in, kids. It's either going to be over in seconds, or it's probably going to be a 2-minute. There can be only one way.
So, and there is lead picked up very quickly by Smarton, although Dr. Ox is signalling to keep going, so maybe they are thinking point differential and rankings.
But Jenks is through. I think we might well be in hit it and quit it territory.
I can see Dr. Ox, you can see him on the screen there with the arm signalling, keep going, keep going, keep going. Maybe they want the 200. They want to please you.
And rightly so, I have to say. This is a lovely jam to finish with, but there's the tap of the hips. The tap of the hips, sorry, that is called off. What a fantastic game of roller derby in front of our very eyes and in front of your screens at home. So thank you so much for joining us, spending your afternoon with us, whether you've tuned in for just the one game or you've been with us all day here at Anarchy for day number 2 at Anarchy number 7.
All the numbers.
All the numbers that I can't
Lots of numbers.
with.
So we do have a final score. Tiger Bay Brawlers on 156, but Stockholm picking up their second win of the day with 196.
What an absolutely wonderful game of roller derby we have been treated to today.
Yes.
Please do stay with us, because we've got some wonderful games this afternoon coming up at around about 3 o'clock. I think we might be running a minute or two over. We've got Crime City Rollers versus Nothing to Lose. And at 5 o'clock, finishing this tournament, it is your host, London Brawling, taking on Helsinki Roller Derby at 5 o'clock. 2 games you will not want to miss. So yeah, get ready for it. But
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us. I've been Very Cherry. We've been produced by the wonderful Billy.
I am King Crazy. Thank you very much for joining us, and make sure you're back here for Crime City versus Nothing to Lose.
See you later.